usually start the connection by writing a little beforehand to make the contact. I think the Don is our doorkeeper, and I hear things that I'm not supposed to sometimes, And he says Don just needs a little bit insecure and needs to have this written down so getting it started, something like that. Here's what it's our title tonight is Pain or Joy. That's an interesting title, isn't it? This is tape number 143. That which you truly are, that is one with God at all times, is whole, complete, and perfect. As you descended in consciousness from the perfection of God to where you are now, you created dimensions to manifest on, first without form, and later bodies of coarser and denser and density with each descent. The body you wear now is the heaviest in density and something of flesh, coarseness of flesh. You are now ready to ascend step by step through these many dimensions that you came down. As soon as you align your thoughts with eternal truth and spiritualize your physical shell so you do not carry the contamination into the dimensions above you, else it will bring you back to the physical to try again. The lack of alignment with the perfection of life that you are is the cause of pain. A taste of joy may have been yours in the physical plane, as you were for a short period, close to perfect alignment. The pen I'm using here is very light. So I have to get somebody to get me a darker pen. I got a bunch of pens and they're all the wrong kind. Balance and alignment of your overall self is your ticket home to the full realization of the God being that you are. Your understanding of the total of your being at this place in consciousness is 10% or less, talking about where we are now. Be not discouraged by your lack of infallible understanding, for there are many great adventures on the road home, even in the physical, if you allow it. The pain you feel, physical, emotional, emptiness, boredom, and others, is the lack of truly knowing who you are and living the life of a master. When you feel that but a small portion of the total self of you, pain in the same form will touch your consciousness, trying to awaken you, showing you that your soul is starving. The reality of God that you are can never be extinguished. So you are eternal. You can't be extinguished. But you can put yourself through hell and be totally ignorant of it from the conscious self, the conscious level. And most people on this plane are that way, aren't they? This is why your teachers through the ages have said, awaken, the kingdom of God is at hand. You don't even have the correct, you don't even have to correct all your karma. Karma is misunderstanding of the true laws of life, and you are standing in the darkness. Wake up, turn loose of your false beliefs, take a few steps, and stand in the light of God's love. If you do not step back into the darkness, God's love will cleanse and spiritualize every fiber of your being, lower and higher, and you are free from the ignorance about who you truly are, and you may dwell in the house of the Lord and know it. The Spirit, the image of God Himself, lives within you. Let the light shine so bright within and all around you that darkness can no longer exist where you are. I apologize for my reading. Good evening, my dear ones. This is Don coming to you from these realms of divine love and light. It is indeed a pleasure to welcome those who have not attended our circle for some time and those who are new. This is a beautiful time of year, and as last week, we will remind you again to send extra divine love for those on your plane at Christmas time. Holiday seasons are much more open and open to receive the truth and the light of understanding. Sometimes when you send divine love unlabeled, it is placed in the aura of one who is very close to awakening to the truth. And if they choose to accept it, then it helps them to understand. The light of understanding becomes brighter in their consciousness, and they awaken and search for the real meaning of life. Most of you can remember maybe when you started your search for a real understanding of who you are and what life is all about. This is our purpose in coming to you in this way, is to help to inspire you, help you to understand your divinity, help you to move in to a much better place to live while you're in your physical shell. Most do not realize that you live in your consciousness, and another way of putting it is in your thoughts. And when you learn to move your thoughts into the light of pure truth, constructive and loving thoughts only, then you are living the life. If you did this, you would be a master of this plane and would no longer need to be here. You are on your way to doing this, and most of you here are making the effort and moving forward one step at a time, but in the right direction. We, on this level, and many, many around your circle tonight, would send you God's love and send you a Christmas greeting. And there are several who are, with their thought power, manifesting a huge Christmas card to you that is above your head. It may not be visible to your physical eye, but know that it is there, and their love for you is great. These are the teachers and guides that work with you, but also those who have come to learn are joining in. For some of them have been on this side for a few years, and they have learned to use their thought power to manifest and to go where they will and be as they will. And some of them, by coming to your classes, have come out of the darkness into the realms of love and light. Be grateful for this, my dear ones, for it is your attendance that makes this circle of light. If you did not attend this Wednesday night class, and you did not have Donald to channel for you, the circle of light would not exist. So you are helping much, much more than you realize. Our subject matter tonight may sound a little strange to you, but it is the contrast that you deal with while you're in these lower dimensions, the concept of duality. And in true reality, my dear ones, there is no duality. There is joy and bliss and beauty and all the wonderful things of pure spirit. And when it comes to good and evil, large and small, time and space, these are illusions. And it is this illusion of duality that brought you to this lower dimension. Now you are on your way back up, and you struggle sometimes with this physical plane needlessly. And when I say this, I apologize because I know that you are doing the best that you can. But if you stop to think, if you who are going to classes and have been to classes, stop to remember who you are and to remember that this is just a play on a stage, and it is not that important to be upset about. When you allow yourself to be disturbed in a negative emotional way, you're adding to the problems of this so-called problems of this plane. You're adding to the darkness. When you smile and feel good inside and allow that beauty of God that dwells within you to get brighter and brighter and shine forth from you, then you are a light unto the world. And believe me, my dear ones, this is true. When you feel this way, you do exude a light. It's a psychic light, you might say, but it is felt by everyone around you. Everyone around you has the opportunity to accept this light, even on an unconscious level, and be healed, to understand much greater, and to be led to some place or someone or some book that will give them greater enlightenment. If you will think of your beginning and your awakening in this incarnation, you will find that there was something happen, something special that brought this beginning to you, and it grew and grew until you are now where you are. There is no stopping place, and it is a great, great adventure, because life is eternal, and our Father who created us himself is continually growing through his creation. When you have pain, say to your body, the body, you do not experience pain, because it is an illusion when you think that your body is having the pain. It is the entity that you are that has departed from the truth that you know, and you are out of alignment and out of balance with the life forces that you are. You are one with all life, and all life is one with you. That is in the whole of the life, the whole of the universe. This may sound strange to some of you, but it is indeed true. And when you step aside a little bit from this perfect alignment and balance, then can you feel pain? Then can you have dis-ease? And this lack of ease brings about something in your body that is manifest in your physical body. But the physical body does not feel the pain. You, the entity that you are, feels the pain. Not even the mind feels the pain. For you are not your body and you're not your mind. You are an entity that is one with all the ocean of life. It is like when you take a drop out of the ocean, it appears to be separate. But when you put it back into the ocean, it becomes one with the whole ocean. And in this present place that you find yourself, in this physical shell, you seem to be separate from life and others, but you truly are not, because you are fed from the same life force that feeds everything in all of creation. When you realize this and understand it, then you cannot be cruel to your neighbor, for your neighbor and you are one. And it does not matter whether your neighbor lives on this planet or some other dimension or some other planet. It's still your neighbor. For it is your brothers and sisters. You are one in life. You are one in God. And because of the lack of understanding this brings about pain, emotional pain sometimes, because you do not understand why other people do things the way they do them. And this disturbs you. And this brings about an imbalance within you. Donald has told you in some of the classes that what others do is none of your business, not even your mate. You are responsible for your children until they become of age to set them an example. But truly, my dear ones, that is all that you can do, is set them an example. For they hear not your words, but they see your actions. They feel your emotions. And they have come from, their bodies have come from your body. And there's a psychic connection between you until they become adults. And even then, parents try to hold on to their children, and children try to hold on to their parents. This is not the best for their soul's growth. They should separate and go about being the spiritual entity that they are and learning to do what they came to do. In other words, try their own wings. Just as the bird kicks out the little one from the nest to teach it to fly, teaches it to feed itself, and then it's on its own. Some species do not even allow them to stay in the same neighborhood. This sounds cruel, but my dear ones, it is not. It is learning who you are, learning life. On your news, you have heard that more children in their 20s and maybe 30s are staying at home and afraid to go out into the world and think that they cannot take care of themselves. This is not profitable to their plan for this incarnation. And parents think that they are being good to their children, when indeed they are doing harm in your sense of duality thinking. Joy is of the angels, and joy you have known. Joy, the real joy of the highest consciousness, you have known in the Godhead, in the Garden of Eden, before you stepped down and took your first thought from God. And even then, you knew joy as you descended. But when you come to these lower dimensions that you're on now, you have forgotten much that you know inside, but it is not present in your conscious awareness. And so, for long years, long centuries, you go without it. And you feel a hunger inside. It is your soul crying out to be fed, because you have forgotten that it's there. Most on your plane think of themselves as just this physical shell. And they feel, when I go through the experience they call death, that that's all there is. My dear ones, there is no death. There is no death. Life is eternal, and you are eternal beings. You are brought forth from the womb of God, and He has created you in His image, and He is eternal. You are children of God, and children grow up to be like their parents. You're in the process of maturing into your adulthood, or should I say godhood, for this is what you are on your way to being. Now, those who do not remember and have not heard this or read about it may think that this is too much. But, my dear ones, it is truth. It is truth. As you learn to stand in the light, keeping your thoughts pure, no matter what happens around you, no matter what others do, keeping your thoughts constructive, positive, and loving, then you attract the light to you, and you are in the light. And as you learn to do this more and more each day, as you learn to hold your head high and hold your understanding high and allow it to feed your soul, then your soul becomes more alive, and you feel that inner feeling of joy. You feel that inner feeling of fulfillment. But the opposite can be true too. When you feed upon the darkness of worry, doubt, concern, and all the other negatives, then your soul shrivels up, and you are hungry, and nothing satisfies you. Nothing on this physical plane. Nothing outside yourself. Learn, my dear ones, to reach in for your fulfillment, not out, for it is not out there. You do not live out there. You appear to live on planet Earth. You appear to live in this area you call Phoenix. You appear to live in this physical body, but you do not. You live in your consciousness that is within you, that is one with the overall ocean of consciousness of all life. This is where your sustenance truly comes from, whether it is your physical food you eat or the spiritual understanding that feeds your soul. It all comes from one source. Everything. Everything on this plane is illusion, but it still comes from the one source because you are of the one source. and you have created these illusions on this plane to have a play on a stage and props like an automobile and a house and a wife and children. These are all props. And you go through this play, and as you bump up against this situation and that situation, you handle it in a certain way. And you have heard many times, it's not important what happens to or around you, but it is so important how you handle it. And that determines, my dear ones, how much you know about yourself, how much you know about life eternal, not physical facts and physical life, but life eternal. When you know the God within you, and you have made that contact with the God within you, then you know. And whatever happens around you, you see through it. You see through the illusions. You see through other people becoming angry and even killing other people. They can't be killed, really. They lose their body. But remember this. If you do not have it coming, it cannot happen to you. That's the law of karma that you are living under. And sadly to say that most of you in this circle are still under the law of karma. But as said in the writing, all you need to do to be out of the law of karma is to step aside into the light. For the law of karma is just a misunderstanding of what life is all about, and it keeps you in darkness. You can put it aside at any time. But if your habit patterns of thinking negative, fear-filled thoughts pulls you back into the darkness, then you're in the darkness. You're not in the light. Your understanding is dim. Your thinking is not clear. And you feel alone. And you're hungry. You know this feeling. All of you have had it at some time. I bring you these truths tonight in sort of a negative way, just to point out to you the contrast, the difference, and point out to you what you can achieve. And it comes back to what you give value to. What you give value to owns you. If you give more value to your job than your family or your loved ones, then your job owns you. And you cannot take it with you when you leave this plane. You take your worries and doubts or your love and peace. Those go with you, but nothing physical. Because you are a divine being, not a physical being. You're just playing this part, playing a role. And as you learn to understand this and make it a definite part of your consciousness, that you do not lose it at any time, then you become master of yourself. And as you become master of yourself, you become master of your world and your universe. And you can do the things that all the masters have done, including the one you call Jesus. Did he not say to his disciples, "Ye shall do the things that I do, and even greater"? Did he not say to his disciples, "Know ye not that ye are gods"? Did he not say, "The kingdom of God is at hand"? And that means right now. There is no other time than right now, this moment. Time and space are illusion. maybe it is time that I have to use to communicate with you to step aside a little and let you ask questions. It is a very good class when you have the bravado to speak and ask questions, not personal questions, for that is for you to decide, but spiritual questions or questions about the class. I will have this time for you to do that now.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is a good way to be able to tell when you are unwilling to listen to somebody because whether or not you're unwilling to listen to it because you think it's going to have a negative impact or because you're not willing to face something?
Yes.
It's a good way to tell.
Your feelings. Your feelings and emotions will tell you. How do you feel about it? How does it hit you? How does it grab you, as the kids say? And if you are disturbed a little bit about it, you can be sure that your subconscious, or the part of you that you call the little self, has fear and does not want to face this thing or situation or individual. When you listen to yourself, you get pure truth. When you listen to others, including this channeling, you get partly truth. Because words mean different things to different people. And there will come a day when you do away with your language and communicate with thoughts only. And this will be a glorious day for your plane. Did I help your understanding in this? When we are faced with a situation, and almost daily you are faced with going to work or doing what you do, at least getting out of bed, and so how do you feel about it? How do you feel about yourself? Do you feel good about yourself? Do you like yourself? Do you love yourself? These are the barometers, my dear ones. And this spreads out to your so-called outer world. If you feel good about yourself and you love yourself, then you love everything around you, no matter what they're doing. And you give them the freedom to be whatever they want to be, because they're going to be that way anyway. And if you get upset and emotionally disturbed about it, you're hurting no one but yourself. But you are doing harm to yourself. You see, your finer bodies, your emotional body is the first one up from your physical body, and then your astral body. And these are very sensitive bodies. And when you feel negative, fear-filled thoughts, they are affected. And if it's repeated over and over, then you have what's called a karmic knot. And this karmic knot is in the soul memory. And this has to be undone at some time. And there are those who have several knots, and it takes a long time and a lot of experience for them to truly understand and know the truth, to get these karmic knots untied and to be free from them, because they tie you hand and foot from being joyful, from being happy, from being fulfilled, and living the abundant life. Are there other questions this evening?
Yes, I have one.
Yeah.
It seems as though you're telling us that basically loving ourselves and erasing these fears, or at least recognizing these fears and doing away with them, would be one of the first steps we would take toward creating harmony between ourselves and our environment. And of course, harmony would lead to better alignment.
Yes, this is true, but you have to start with yourself. You see, if you do not love yourself, then you do not have harmony with yourself. And remember that harmony comes from the word hormone. And your hormone systems in your physical body are affected when you are out of alignment or not in harmony. You are tense, you're agitated, all these things. And they affect you physically. Your hormone system is throughout your physical body, and it is affected. And if it's repeated often enough, then you have something that doctors have given a name to, and you have to have it removed, or certain treatments, maybe even go to the hospital. And it all comes back, my dear ones, to thoughts. Feelings, moods, attitudes, desires, all come under the heading of thought. How do you feel? What mood are you in? What attitude do you have about yourself and life around you? It is much easier to be loving than it is to be fearful. But because over many, many lifetimes you have been programmed and conditioned to be fearful, it has become such a pattern, such a habit, that it jumps up first. And you think of it as normal. So many do, I should say. Think, well, this is normal. But it is not. It disrupts your linkage with your Creator. And anything that disrupts that linkage with God disrupts your life and your harmony and your joy and your peace. When you are going through this coming week, many of you are busy with Christmas holidays, and a little more pressure is put upon you for some. The masses of people are running to and fro, thinking that they have to buy this and please everybody else by giving them a gift that they will like. My dear ones, you only have to please yourself. You only have to love yourself. No one else is going to be pleased with you, truly pleased with you, by your giving them a gift. And I'm not saying that you should not give gifts, because this demonstrates a giving, learning to give. But do not overdo it. Eliminate this frantic, hypnotized siege that the merchants have programmed you with. They make all their money, or at least half of their money, at this time of year. And they go all out to get you into the stores and make you feel guilty if you do not get the right thing and spend so much money. Christmas comes from the word Christ Mass, and it is a celebration of the Christ in you coming forth at this time of year, the birth of the Christ within you. Now, the Master Jesus came to this plane and set a pattern. He did not have to incarnate when he came. He was already a master many times over. But he came and experienced the experience of birth and grew up and became a teacher for a while, just to show you how to live. But the masses did not understand, and they took the easy way out and thought, well, he died on the cross to save us from our sins. And my dear ones, this is the biggest fallacy that has been put on your country and the Christian religion, as you call it. For no one can save you from your thoughts. Your thoughts are the things that create joy or pain. And they are your dominion. But he went through this experience of allowing them to put him to death on the cross for reasons, several reasons, but one of the main reasons is to prove to you that there is no death. For he told his disciples that he would raise the body in 3 days, and he did. And then he turned it into pure light and went back home. Some of the disciples that experienced this wanted to go with him. And he said, no, I want you to be in the world, but not of it. And this is the message that we are continually bringing to you, no matter what we entitle it or what we say, is that you agreed to take on this physical flesh. You agreed to go through the experiences that this plane has to offer. And if you can learn to be here, but be not of the illusionary, negativity, fear-filled atmosphere of this plane, and be your own master, and think the thoughts of love and joy and peace, understand that you are not your physical self, and this is not your real home. You are just away to school. Are there other questions this evening? I see in your mind some things that you would like to ask, but you're not sure that you should. Go ahead, if you desire. And if I do not want to answer it, I'll just say so. And this should not cause a rift between us, should it? Love is a key to all things, my dear ones. We love you dearly. And we, in God's love, are around you much of the time. The one who is your guardian is always with you, and many others, when you're striving to grow, have come to your aid in different ways. Things that you're going through and trying to overcome, maybe they have been in the physical and have overcome them, and they understand, and so they come and be around you. They do not tell you what to do, but just their aura, being close to your aura, communicates to your inner self. And if you're open, you pick up these things, this understanding, and it becomes a living thing in you. if you feed it. But if you do not feed it with the power of thought, loving thought, then it is fleeting and is there for a short time and is gone. Hang on to those things that you receive, and as your teacher Donald has told you, write them down on paper, record them, so that you will remember them, so that you can remind yourself. Have I sparked a question?
I have a question. It has to do with a graduation service I attended today. And while I was at service, I did not feel that there was any separation as I would have prior to the new perspective that I have. However, the only thing that I could think to do was to send love, but I didn't see any physical evidence that it made any difference in the group that I was in. Should I just send love and forget about it, not worry?
Do not look for results, my dear ones. Do not look for results. That is God's dominion. You do your part by being an open channel for God's love to flow through you and release it to God. That is not your dominion. And it matters not whether it is accepted or not. You've done your part. And you will be blessed for it. There are many times when God's love is sent and it appears that nothing is happening, but it is. It is at least planting some seeds in their aura, and they still have free will. And if they desire to listen, then these seeds will take root, and they will grow and bear fruit. But do not expect to see results. This is not your dominion. This belongs to God. Do you understand?
I understand that now. Should I expect to see the results in myself?
So there are many times that you do not see results in yourself, and other people point it out to you. Have you not had this experience?
Yeah.
Yes. Continue to work, send God's love, whether you see anything or not. And I promise you that you will move forward and your consciousness will be raised. And when you get high enough, you can look back and see where you have been and know that the results are there. Yes. Life is such an interesting experience, and be grateful that you have life and that you have the whole universe as your playground. It truly is, my dear ones. And maybe you have been in many parts of the universe, many parts of this galaxy, but for now you have decided to experience this planet and to go through most of the experiences that this planet has to offer. So do not be discouraged when you bump up against something that you do not understand. Send love into it and ask God to show you. And if you still don't understand, release it to God and walk on. Go about doing that which you can and that which you can see, but be loving. First to yourself, and then to others. This has been a beautiful time to be with you this evening, and it's been a very deep pleasure for me, and many others are showing their light around you that they have enjoyed this time with you, and wish you well, and all the happiness of the holiday season. God bless you, each one, and good evening.